Faith is restored, and spiritual wealth is on its way. On this week's episode of The High Priestess. Greetings everyone, I'm Oblyron, the Lord of Love and the Magister of the Cube. Thank you for joining me on today's Elemental Synastry reading. It is a technique that I devised which uses the tarot, astrology, and the 5 elements. This is a reading which transcends space and time, so if you resonate with this at any point watching this, then this message is for you. Okay, so let's begin with the element of spirit, which is represented by the bell. So the tarot cards influence the spirit, and the astrology die offer the advice or the outcome. Okay, so let's see what's happening in the realm of the spirit. Ooh, all right. So we have an inverted Lord of Material Trouble. It is the 5 of Pentacles, and it usually means that faith has been restored, or we are over our period of poverty. And the interesting thing about Pentacles is that it can represent spiritual wealth as well as material wealth. So Spirit is basically saying that the hard times are coming to an end. It's not quite over yet because it is still in the spirit realm, and we still have to make the effort to manifest that in the lower realms in which we live. So let's see what the astrology die have to say. Okay, we got Mars in Sagittarius in the 12th house. Let me move these over. So Mars in Sagittarius in the 12th house. Okay. So I roll first for the house, and then I roll second for the decan. 12 again. So that is the third decan. So the third decan of Sagittarius is the Lord of Oppression. It's guided by Saturn. It's the burden of ambition. And what this is trying to tell us, especially with it being in the 12th house which is ruled by Pisces, is that we're looking at an ending to, again, it sort of reiterates the ending of spiritual poverty or of material poverty as well. And with it being in Sagittarius, which is related to higher learning as well, and our philosophies, it's saying that, and with that also being guided by Mars, it's saying that we need to take the initiative to learn those spiritual philosophies and those spiritual lessons in order to help bring about the end of this poverty. So again, it's also called faith restored, so that we need to discover and again take those initiatives to restore our faith. Pisces is also a very spiritual house. The 12th house is also a very spiritual house. It's not just about endings. So there is a lot of spirit energy which is going through this reading. And as we go through the different elements, what we're going to find is all of it relates back to the element of spirit. Okay, so let's move right along and see what the element of fire has to say. The reading becomes more in-depth and complex as we bring out the different elements. It's a synastry reading, so we're going to be finding all of these different placements. Sometimes they form trines, just like in astrology. Sometimes they form squares. So yeah, all right, let's move right along. All right, so what is the element of fire being influenced by? So we have moved from the realm of the divine to the realm of fire. It is the human spirit. It's our drive and ambitions. And pretty much, how are we going to put the spirit in motion? That is fire. Okay, inverse Page of Pentacles. Let's see. So what we have here is our fire is sort of being guided by let's say, a rebel without a cause. It's being guided by sort of an immature energy. And what's interesting is Pentacles is coming up again. So from my perspective, it looks like these Pentacles definitely represent more the spiritual wealth rather than the material wealth. And as the Page of Pentacles is popping up, we're finding that our human ambitions, our drive, and the human spirit is sort of being guided by, let's say, a less than wise energy. So what do the astrology die have to recommend for this? Okay, Mars again. So we got Mars in Pisces in the 7th house. Okay, Mars in Pisces in the 7th house. A lot of Piscean energy, lots of Mars. All right. Okay. All right, let's re-roll for the decan. 3, which means we are in the first decan of Pisces. Okay, so the first decan of Pisces is the Lord of Abandoned Success. And, oh wow, pretty interesting. Just as Saturn is guiding the third decan of Sagittarius, Saturn is also guiding the first decan of Pisces. So a lot of Saturnian energy, a lot of Piscean energy, and again, a lot of Pentacles. We seem, and Mars, we seem to be having a very sort of one-sided perspective to this. So again, with Mars being related to this, it's saying that we as individuals have to take on these energies. We need to not necessarily be guided by what the overall energy is trying to say, but take the initiative within ourselves, take control of our own destinies, and to really reflect on how we behave, and to be able to manifest it for ourselves. It's not that anyone else is going to be taking our hand to guide us. We need to do it for ourselves. And with it coming up in the 7th house, which is ruled by Libra, we are also looking at, again, at our interpersonal relationships, generally with marriage or with co-workers or with peers. People that we sort of see ourselves on equal footing with. It could also be people that we take advice from as well. So with it being the Lord of Abandoned Success, there's basically two outcomes. We can walk away from a bad situation, or maybe we are leaving a bad situation too early. Now, in this case, since we have the inverted Page of Pentacles, which is influencing the element of fire, I would say it's time to walk away from a bad situation. And with it being in Libra, perhaps we have a bad situation in our interpersonal relationships, or we have something that needs to be addressed. So again, with it being guided by Saturn so much, and with it also calling for change too, we may look to restructuring our relationships with others and our relationship with the divine, especially when it comes to how we perceive our place and our progression and path in life. Because again, fire represents the human spirit. It represents our drive, and it's very connected to the element of spirit as well. It's basically the first element which comes down from spirit, and fire is the element which binds all the other elements together too, later on in the reading. All right, so let's move right along. And okay, yeah, let's move right along. We almost have an opposition forming. Not quite yet, though. Okay, so let's move to the element of air, which is represented by the swords. And let's see what air is being influenced by. Okay. The upside down, or the inverted emperor. Okay. Very interesting. So, the inverted emperor, it could suggest that we are experiencing a lack of progress, or our development, our progress is being stifled in some way. And with it relating back to the element of air, it has to deal with our communication and our intellectual pursuits. So it would make a lot of sense because, we have over here in our interpersonal relationships a conflict happening, perhaps having something that we got to walk away from. We are also seeing a stifling in the intellect and in the communication. So, what is the advice for the inverted emperor and the element of air? Okay, we have South Node in Leo in the 3rd house. Lot of air energy. Okay, so 3rd house is Gemini. Let's re-roll for the decan. 8. All right, middle decan. Middle decan of Leo, South Node. Okay, let me line this up real quick. Okay, so what we're seeing here is, again, a lot of communication issues. Gemini being the 3rd house, it is the house, or the 3rd house being ruled by Gemini. It definitely, or it deals with communication, mostly between our siblings, and here we have issues in communication in our interpersonal relationships or on relationships that we view as equal footing. So a lot of communication issues, a lot of let's say misguidance or restructuring that we have to do. And with the South Node popping up, it means that we need to look to our past lives. We need to look to the karmic lessons that we learned in order to guide us through this life. So that's pretty much what's happening right now. So the South Node in Leo in the middle decan of Leo is the Lord of Victory, and it's pretty much saying to look to our past victories, to look to those past lessons, to look to those past those past lessons which were successful to us, or which lent us their success, because we were successful in past lives and we were successful in the past. And the fact that we are experiencing this lack of progress in our communication in our current life, again, it's saying, what did you do in the past? Relearn those lessons and take it back to heart so that you can move on karmically in this life. And again, look towards our relationships towards siblings and towards the friendships and people who are closer to us, just as what Libra is suggesting to us too. Okay, let's move right along. And let's see. So we almost have a couple of things forming. We almost have a trine here forming, but it needs to be a little bit closer for that. So everything is also just kind of off a little bit. The energies haven't completely lined up, but they're almost there to form trines, squares, oppositions, and whatnot. But, I mean, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what the reading is. Okay, moving right along. Pentacles. So, we've had a lot of pentacles pop up with both spirit and fire. Let's see what pentacles is being guided by in the tarot. Okay. King of Wands. All right. Okay, so the King of Wands guiding pentacles. Pretty much there is a sort of impending change. There is an endeavor which is likely to start in the material realm. And the material realm, so let me rewind back a little bit. So air is, if we were to look to Yggdrasil, the tree of life, air would be the branches. Again, according to to this particular belief system, the fire encompasses all the elements. Air is the upper branches of the tree of Yggdrasil. It's the divine coming to us and giving us our guidance. And the pentacles represents earth, and it also represents the trunk of Yggdrasil, which is our material body. Our bodies are the trunk of Yggdrasil. And it's saying it's saying that change is in the air. So we could probably be looking at change in how we relate to our bodies. We could look at change in how we relate to ourselves. Again, we have over here with the spirit and fire, we have Mars popping up. So Mars is the individual, it's the warrior. And here it's saying with the King of Wands, it's saying, which again is more fire energy, and Mars also represents fire. With all this fire energy happening, we could be looking at a lot of change in how we view ourselves as individuals too. And that change will also help to bring about this this restored faith, and also this change in spiritual wealth, which seems to be on the horizon of manifesting. Okay, let's look at the advice that the astrology die have to give. All right. North Node in Leo in the 11th house. Okay, a lot of South nodes and North nodes popping up. Let me move this over. Okay. And let me set this up real quick. Okay, let's re-roll for the decan. 11. So we are in the third decan of Leo. So the North Node is in the third decan of Leo in the 11th house. All right, so very interesting. So it's saying that within this life, and the third decan of Leo is the Lord of Valor, it is saying that in this life we are standing our ground, and we have fought the good fight, and we're still fighting the good fight within this life, which is represented by the North Node. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, times have been very challenging recently. So all of us were fighting the good fight. And with it being represented in Leo, it also refers back to our entertainment and to our pleasures. So, fighting the good fight, and also being able to take it in stride, to be able to turn the other cheek as well. It's interesting because the King of Wands also rules the house of Leo, or at least the first two decans. So we have a lot of this Leo fire energy. It's saying, okay, I'm down, but I'm not out, because I'm the king of the zodiac. I know how to handle this. And that's what we're going through in our lives. With it being in the house of Aquarius, what I'm getting for this in particular is that it has to relate to our online lives too. So a lot of us are probably being beaten up online. Maybe there's some cyber bullying, or maybe there doesn't even have to be bullying. A lot of people could be experiencing a lot of negative energy from the things that they post, and they can feel the undercover haters, hating what they're posting. But it's all good, because here it's all saying, take it in stride. And that will help us to reestablish our identities as well. Our identities in the material world. Okay. Let's see. Okay, 120. All right, let's move right along to the element of water. All right. Okay, so last but not least is the element of water, which is represented by the cups. The cups represent the roots of Yggdrasil, or I should say water represents the roots of Yggdrasil. It is tied into our emotions, our intuition, and it's tied into our ancestors as well. A lot of the past energy. So let's see, what is water being guided by? Okay. Aha! The Wheel of Fortune. Excellent. Excellent. Let me put that over there. So we have water being guided by the Wheel of Fortune. And it's an upright Wheel of Fortune. So it means that on an emotional level, good times are definitely in the works. And again, if we keep on manifesting this, it will help to bring about that faith restored in the spiritual realms. Let's see what advice the astrology die have to recommend for that. Okay, so Pluto in Taurus in the 10th house. Okay, wow, all right. So the 10th house, and let's re-roll for the decan. 7. All right, so we are in the middle decan of the 10th house. So let's see, the middle decan of the 10th house is the Lord of Material Works. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread that. So the middle decan of Taurus is actually the Lord of Material Success. My bad. We are in the 10th house, but it's being guided by Taurus in the middle decan. Okay. So essentially what this is saying is, in order to amplify the Wheel of Fortune, which is influencing our emotional natures, we need to focus on our career and status. That is the 10th house of Capricorn, and that's what guides Capricorn is career and status. So with that also being guided by the middle decan of Taurus, it's saying, and of course with Pluto coming into being, it's saying that there needs to be a transformation with how we view our materialism, with how we view what really matters to us and what is important to us and what we're trying to even work for. And when we begin to really ask ourselves what matters to us in our lives, well, then we'll find the Wheel of Fortune influencing the cups as amplifying itself, as creating even greater abundance. Again, all of this leads back to what's happening in the spirit. So if we want to manifest and become more powerful with the realm of the spirit, all of these need to be working with one another. Again, let's recap. So we have the Page of Pentacles, which was guiding, or I should say the inverted Page of Pentacles, which is guiding fire. May not be the most, it may not be the best way to approach it, because it is kind of like a loose cannon, our fire right now, and we need to go back and look at our interpersonal relationships with our equals. We need to take the initiative with that and look and consider very carefully whether it's a situation that we need to walk away from, which most likely, because it's a Page of Pentacles, or if we are leaving a good thing. But again, with it being guided by the Page of Pentacles, it's most likely a situation we need to walk away from. The Emperor, we're having difficulty in communicating. However, look to the lessons of the past. Look to what we've learned. And again, it's also guided by Leo, so take it in stride. Take that entertainment. Be a little bit more lighthearted in how we communicate, and also how we relate to our close family members. The Pentacles, guided by the King of Wands in Leo. Again, a lot of Leo energy for that one. And this particular reading seems to point towards our online lives, and really look towards those issues to redefine who we are as individuals. Last but not least, water, which Pluto guiding Taurus in the middle decan is saying reevaluate our motivations and why we work the way that we do to reestablish or to establish an even greater success with our emotional nature, with our past, with our ancestors, and with the lower branches of the tree of Yggdrasil, or I should say, not lower branches, the roots of the tree of Yggdrasil. So, let's do a quick recap on if there's anything else. Actually, No. Again, everything right here, like we don't have many aspects forming. It's all kind of there, but they're a little bit out of alignment with each other. Yeah, it's not quite there. They're all a little bit of alignment without each other, or from each one another. So we have to look at these as individual cases. There's no major energies forming to make them work in tandem with one another. All right. So that is this week's Elemental Synastry reading. I hope that you got something from this, and I hope to see you again at the next reading. Thanks for joining me today, and have a good day. I love you all. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. If you resonate with what you are seeing or hearing, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share Oblyron's content. It really helps him to spread the word and to grow his channel and pages. Collective readings are posted Mondays on the High Priestess's Circle. Teachings are posted Wednesdays on the Magister's Sanctum, and the music from those episodes are posted Fridays on the Empress's Theater. Posters and merch related to Oblyron's teachings are available at oblyron.square.site. Music from the episodes is also available at oblyron.bandcamp.com. Oblyron is spelled Oblyron. Lastly, don't forget to connect with the community on Discord. It's called the Magister's Council, and look for the invite link in the description boxes and profiles below. There are astrology and wellness bots, as well as games and discussion forums available for free. There is also an exclusive members-only section with additional content and live streams for subscribers. Oblyron also takes inquiries for services through Discord. In case you missed anything, all the links are available in the description boxes and profiles below. Thank you everyone, and much love to all.